Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
Recently learned that literacy is not up to the par in Winkler County that we had hoped it would be. The schools are working as hard as they can, but it's very difficult when you've got a great number of immigrants, a great number of bilinguals, but everyone enjoys fun and understands fun.
Today, the Literacy Coalition of the Permian Basin kicked off a summer reading program that they hope will bring a little magic to young readers. We'll tell you more about it coming up on CBS7 News at 9. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live from the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Laura Munt, and we start tonight with a live look out of Ruidoso, where the entire city is under a mandatory immediate evacuation notice. This is from the Discover Ruidoso website, where you can see lots of smoke coming from a wildfire. That wildfire has burned more than 3,300 acres of land and is rapidly spreading. Again, the entire city of Ruidoso is now under a mandatory immediate evacuation. Residents are urged to get out as soon as possible and try not to salvage your belongings. The only route for evacuation is on the Surth to Highway 70 out of Roswell. We'll continue to keep this story updated. And in California, more than 1,000 firefighters have been called into battle for a fire in Los Angeles County, with more on the way. The wildfire has forced hundreds of people to evacuate and has burned its way through more than 15,000 acres since Saturday. Cheryl Hubbard has the latest.
A heat wave not seen in decades is sweeping across the United States. In parts of the West, there's an added threat: wildfires. Several are burning in California, including in Los Angeles County. Officials say the fire was caused by the perfect storm.
Everything lined up. It was high temperatures, low relative humidity, about 15%. We had the terrain with the, chutes and canyons, and that wind just really kicked it off. That's what got it going so fast.
The National Weather Service in Los Angeles warned Sunday of wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour, creating conditions that could potentially fuel the flames.
This is a relatively fast-moving fire. Every one of us is concerned with the wind. That's the single most driving factor of this fire.
The post-fire began Saturday afternoon in Gorman, an unincorporated community in northwestern Los Angeles County. With the speed that the wildfire is spreading, fire department officials are encouraging residents to stay on high alert.
We're putting people on notice that if we have to issue a mandatory evacuation order, that they need to leave. So having your bags packed, your cars ready to go, a full tank of gas, and your cell phones handy. And then once sheriffs come by or law enforcement asks you to leave, it means the danger is imminent.
I'm Cheryl Hubbard reporting.
Back here in West Texas, the cause of an Odessa apartment fire that recently displaced more than 50 people has been determined to be a grease fire. The fire at the Fairgreen Apartments was the second grease fire Odessa Fire Rescue has responded to in the last 2 weeks. And according to OFR, only about 6% of fires are caused by electric or mechanical malfunctions, while 44% of all fires are a result of cooking. Grease fires can be tricky to handle because, despite what you may think, grease and water don't mix.
Throwing water on a grease fire makes everything a lot worse. It's going to throw the grease up, splash it everywhere, spread that fire, and it's going to go a lot quicker than if it just stayed contained to the pot.
The safest way to put out a grease fire is to cover the flame with a lid or cover it in baking soda. And if fire does occur in your home, call 911. We've got continuing coverage for you now, where just 2 weeks ago, Sanderson was hit by 2 tornadoes. The severe weather damaged about 25 homes and seriously injured 1 person. The town has been rebuilding ever since. CBS 7's Hannah Brock visited with residents today to see how they're doing. Hannah?
Well, Sanderson residents say the past 2 weeks have shown the community's strength. And finally, it's starting to feel like they'll get back to normal.
And right as I got to the hallway, it hit the house. And I could see the master bedroom, anything down the hallway, come at me and get sucked right back out.
From watching the weather on the porch to running for cover inside the bathroom.
It was just that fast.
Lori Smith's home was destroyed in just 6 minutes.
We all walked out, extremely blessed. It could have been a lot worse, but thank God it wasn't.
And almost as soon as she and her sons crawled out from the ruins, neighbors were ready to help. Help has been nonstop since then. Meals, clean clothes, cleanup, and more.
People come together regardless of political affiliations, religious backgrounds, personal opinions. They just come together because they see another person in need. And I think we've gotten all stronger and closer because of it.
And that small town heart got Ferguson Motors cleaned up and running again, though the back of their store will still need some work.
It was heartwarming, all tragedy aside, but seeing the whole town just come out of the woodwork.
They're also one of several businesses feeding people who lost their homes. West Texans near and far helped, but Sanderson Strong became their motto.
This community's been here for a long time, will continue to be here for a long time, because of the folks that live in the community and the fact that they take care of one another. So yes, it's just a small step back. It could be a long road to recovery for those that lost everything, but we'll get it done.
State and federal emergency management officials are still local and there to help with disaster relief. And though everyone is at a different stage, Sanderson is moving forward. Reporting in Sanderson, I'm Hannah Brock, CBS 7 First Alert News.
Thank you, Hannah. Lots of severe weather happening around the nation. In here at home, Tom, what's it looking like this week?
Well, we have had severe thunderstorms near Fort Stockton, just off to the south, producing golf ball size hail and some gusty winds. Let's take a look at the radar right now and show you that storm is passing south of the Fort Stockton area and starting to weaken, but we still have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is poised to go down U.S. Highway 385 near the Sierra Madera. It did produce a microburst that did topple two 18-wheelers, turn them over on Interstate 10 west of Fort Stockton, produced some golf ball size hail near the Belding Farms area. Flash flood warnings are now up as there's water running over some of the roads here across south central portions of Pecos County. Some other thunder shower activity continues to move across northern Pecos County near Imperial back towards the Reeves County area. Here's a look at that smoke plume associated with those fires. South Fork fire in and around Ruidoso, where fire warnings are in effect for immediate danger and the evacuation for the city of Odessa. This also includes, I should say Ruidoso, and also includes parts of Otero County too, near the Mescalero Indian Reservation. You can see that smoke plume is developing smoke all the way into and around the Lubbock area. We saw an extremely hot day into triple digits in many locations. A hot spot nearly 115 down towards Rio Grande Village. And we did see some gusty winds out there all the way up to 46 miles an hour with that thunderstorm in and around the Fort Stockton area. Looks like a little more heat, but also more thunderstorms in the forecast. We'll talk about it here in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Tom. We're tracking crime now, where Saturday afternoon, the Brewster County Sheriff's Office arrested 6 illegal immigrants on Highway 90 between Marfa and Alpine. The vehicle they were traveling in was detained for a traffic violation, and further investigation revealed that the 6 occupants were Mexican citizens and not in the country legally. One individual showing symptoms of dehydration was transported to Big Bend Regional Medical Center. We're looking across West Texas now, with the United States investigated the Upton County election website and found it was not accessible to people with vision or manual disabilities, which violates Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. However, the county had not received any complaints from its registered voters. And now Upton County has entered a settlement with the Justice Department to make all future and existing online election content accessible, train personnel on accessibility, and it'll hire an independent auditor to evaluate their website. Some education news for you now. The summer reading program has officially kicked off at the Winkler County Library in Kermit, bringing the theme of There's Magic in Winkler County to life. Hosted by the Literacy Coalition of the Permian Basin, this program is designed to inspire children to develop a love for reading. Overcoming the fear of reading often stems from the negative experiences of being forced to read in school. And for bilingual students, language barriers also contribute significantly to this fear. Winkler County Library hopes to bring fun and magic to reading, making it easier to engage kids from all backgrounds.
If you think about it, every nation and every culture has its own magical history to it. It's rooted in myth and legend and folklore, and magicians have been using that to bring stories onto the stage for centuries. And now magicians more and more are using it to help teach. They're trying to meet needs in the community.
It's different approaches to reading like this one that keep children engaged while learning.
That magic ball Do you believe in magic? I used to not. I didn't, but now I do.
The summer reading program at the Winkler County Library will continue throughout the season, offering a variety of activities and workshops to keep young readers motivated and excited. And in case you missed it, this weekend marked the second annual FCA All-Star Football Game. Now I got to go to Saturday's game and take a few pictures. Take a look. On Saturday, nearly 100 West Texas football players, 15 cheerleaders, 16 coaches, and 7 athletic trainers gathered at Ratliff Stadium for one last game together. The students are all members of the class of 2024, and in the fall, they'll all be entering their next phase of life. But before that journey begins, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes wanted to send them off with one more memory on the football field. This time, that memory is not only filled with rivalries, instead it's all about coming together as West Texans. And now the white team can come out on top with a final score of 21-10. But no matter who won, it was all smiles at the 2024 All-Star Football Game. Now you can find all of these photos plus a recap of the game up on our website, CBS7.com. In some more local sports news, it's been an amazing year for UTPB football. New head coach, a Lone Star Conference championship, and a new set of standards and expectations. Today it was announced that head coach Chris McCulloch has promoted Kenny Hernser to offensive coordinator. In 2023, Hernser won Lone Star Conference Player of the Year, and he made Lone Star Conference first team while setting school records in passing attempts, touchdowns, and yards. Originally, he was supposed to serve as the quarterback coach, but now he's the youngest offensive coordinator in all of college football. We're switching it over to the baseball diamond now, where the Midland Rockhounds have struggled to continue into the recent series with the Wichita win surge. They're 4-6 over the last 10 games and sit in second place of the Texas League South. The Hounds have fallen 8 games behind the Frisco Rough Riders and are eliminated from winning the first half of the season. In order for the Rockhounds to make the playoffs, they need to come in first place during the second half. If Frisco wins the second half of the season, the Rockhounds would need to finish right behind in second place for a playoff berth. Speaking of Frisco, the Rockhounds open up a 6-game series tomorrow night with the Rough Riders at Momentum Bank Ballpark. Game 1 will begin at 6:30. And in some more local baseball news, the Pecos Bills open up a 2-game series at home against the Tucson Sagaros. First pitch will be at 6:30, and CBS7's Jensen Young is out there. He'll share game highlights on CBS7 News at 10. Now, happening this weekend, this Wednesday is Juneteenth, the day that marks the end of slavery in Texas. And to celebrate, the Black Cultural Council of Odessa is hosting 3 days full of events, including musical performances, food vendors, a talent show, and a parade. The city of Midland is also hosting a week of events, including a block party, boots and bling ball, and a pool party. To see the full schedule for both and find out how you can participate, just visit our website, CBS7.com. And still ahead, nearly 200 new or tied heat records are possible across at least a dozen states this week. We're talking about weather across the nation next here on CBS7 News at 9. Cities across the nation are set to see severely high temperatures this week, and some hitting highs not seen in 3 decades. Brian Abel has details on what's behind the severe weather and when the heat will let up.
Hundreds of records could be tied or broken this week as extreme heat risk blanket parts of the Midwest and the Northeast. Some cities in the Northeast, including Montpelier, Syracuse, and Pittsburgh, set to experience high temperatures not seen in 3 decades. New York's Governor Kathy Hochul deploying 50 National Guard members to provide heat assistance across the state.
You should consider limited, prolonged, or intense outdoor activities.
The expansive, long-lasting heat wave fueled by an intense heat dome. Humidity pushing the heat index, how the heat feels, into the low 100s, with relief not expected until potentially early next week. Meanwhile, nearly 15,000 acres in Southern California scorched by the post-fire in just 24 hours.
This is a relatively fast-moving fire. Every one of us is concerned with the wind. That's the single most driving factor of this fire.
Those winds expected to reach as high as 60 miles per hour, forcing evacuation orders for over 1,200 people northwest of Los Angeles. Much of that area will remain under red flag alerts until Tuesday night. The fire's cause still unknown. In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Well, we did have some afternoon thunderstorms across parts of Pecos County, produced wind gusts in excess of 40 miles an hour. Also some golf ball size hail. We'll get you up to date on that, and also looking at the smoke plume on the Rio Dosa fire coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, daytime heating and a dry line kicked off some showers and thunderstorms with severe weather across Pecos County. Take a look at the wide view of the radar. That's where all the action has been and will continue to be here over the next hour. It has weakened quite a bit, this severe thunderstorm moving across near the Sierra Madera there south on U.S. Highway 385 south of Fort Stockton. There is a precautionary flash flood warning in effect. Had a report earlier near the Belding area of 2 to 3 inches of water over the roads. Still some scattered showers and thunder showers continuing there. across portions of northern Pecos County north of the Fort Stockton area. And as we take a look at the fire warning area again, seeing that we do have a smoke plume associated with the fire back just to the northwest of Ruidoso. Fire warnings are up. The evacuation orders are out there for portions of Lincoln and Otero County in and around Ruidoso for this fast moving wildfire that was last report upwards of 1,500 acres. Now, taking a look at the leftover thunderstorm activity across Pecos County on our live iCam, we're seeing temperatures trying to cool off, still on the warm side though, and into the 90s, and still hanging on to triple digits down around Presidio all the way up to Rio Grande Village, where temperatures were up around 115 a little bit earlier today. Now, taking a look at the weather makers, well, we're under a lot of dry air in place across West Texas. That's that ridge of high pressure is going to get shoved back to the southwest. It's going to be replaced by a lot of tropical moisture. There's a potential tropical cyclone down in the Bay of Campeche that is going to move towards the Texas Gulf Coast here over the next couple of days, and some of that moisture looks to make its way into West Texas and impact our weather. As you can see, just some isolated thunderstorms again back across portions of West Texas along that dry line that's set up right along the Texas-New Mexico state line. And those temperatures out there, well, they were hot today. We're all the way up to 108 in Presidio, 110 plus from Terlingua into the lower elevations of Big Bend National Park. I think we're about done with thunderstorms for tonight around the midnight hour. Then we'll see a few low clouds try to move in as we'll see more humidity in our forecast. May see an isolated thunderstorm in the same areas tomorrow as temperatures will be into the mid 70s. Overnight tonight, look at the heat tomorrow though, still hot, mid to upper 90s across the Permian Basin with plenty of triple digits west and southwest. And we're going to see a downward trend in our temperatures, an upswing in rain chances as that tropical moisture gets closer later this week.
The annual bill that funds the Pentagon and our country's armed forces passed in the Republican-led House last week, and now senators are working on the bill. CBS7's Washington News Bureau's Stetson Miller spoke with one of the key members working on it and why he's pushing for a significant hike in defense spending.
Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker says growing threats abroad warrant investing more in defense now to prevent bigger national security issues down the road. Congress is pushing ahead to get the nation's key annual defense bill passed. Well, it barely made it through the House after divisive amendments were added. Senator Roger Wicker says the road may not be as rocky in the Senate.
I think Republicans and Democrats alike realize that our Navy is not where it needs to be. Our recruiting is not where it needs to be.
The top Republican on the Senate Armed Services Committee says the committee voted to advance the bill last Friday and thinks Democrats will join with them to get it done.
Now that they realize that we have the votes to pass this in committee and perhaps in the Senate, I think they're interested in working with us.
The Senate bill includes $25 billion more in spending, which was added by Senator Wicker. He says the nation's armed forces need more funding given the threats America faces today from places like Russia and China. He's even called for spending as much as 5% of the GDP on defense.
We can have a peaceful existence if we spend a little more of a portion of our economy. We need to start manufacturing more ammunition and more weaponry, and if we do that, there's less of a chance we have to use it.
The Senate version of the bill includes pay raises for service members, new security initiatives in the Indo-Pacific, and support for technology like AI and counter drone strikes. It will need to be brought to the floor and passed in the Senate, then reconciled with the House before being sent to the president's desk. In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Well, a little less heat's coming up in the forecast here over the next few days as we're going to be looking at temperatures going down, rain chances going up later this week.
All right, that sounds great. I like the rain. Thanks for joining us tonight for CBS 7 News at 9. We've got more news and weather updates coming up tonight at 10.